What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are back with the Ferrari 412 today. In the last video on this car, we installed our rear suspension that we designed and made for it. If you guys haven't checked that out, I recommend watching that series. The rear suspension is really awesome. Super happy with how that came out. Now with the rear suspension complete, Steve would be moving on to the design of the front suspension. But while he was busy doing that, Martin was working on the tunnel. Early on in the project, Martin had removed the original X-brace that was in the transmission tunnel to create space for our new upgraded 599 torque tube. That meant Martin now had to fabricate an entire new transmission tunnel, keeping in mind interior space, mounting the seats, mounting the shifter, and of course keeping space for the back seats as well. Before Martin could start the fabrication work on the transmission tunnel, we had to decide what seats we were going to be using in this car and get them. Now my first thought in regards to the seats was actually the 599 HGTE seats. That stands for Handling GTE. It was a Ferrari upgrade package for the 599 that had carbon fiber reclinable bucket seats. The problem with those seats though is you can't get a set of those seats new, and used ones are going to have worn out, dirty looking buttons on the side of it, as well as potentially faulty electronics after more than 10 years now. So we started to look for carbon fiber reclinable bucket seats that we could buy, that were just aftermarket seats that we could get brand new. After some searching, we settled upon these. So these are the Bride Stadia 3 seats, carbon fiber reclinable buckets. Really excited about these. Not only just having a JDM seat kind of tie in, with Martin and our JDM background, but also the kind of square top that Bride is really well known for, I think really matches well to the feeling of this car and the way the interior was originally. These seats, of course, with the rest of the interior will be completely reupholstered. Can't wait for you guys to see that. With the seats now figured out, Martin could move on to actually building the transmission tunnel for this car. This middle section of the transmission tunnel would act as the main backbone of the transmission tunnel, so Martin built it extra strong to take the weight and force of the shifter being mounted, as well as any potential center console and armrest that would be added to the car. With the middle section of the tunnel done and both seats mounted, Martin was able to move to the rear of the tunnel where the back seats are. I wanted to show you guys this. This is a eyelet for the seat. Of course, this being a 4-seater car, you know, we had to recreate essentially the third point of the 3-point belt system. That way we could have back seat belts for the passengers, and of course, so Martin made that in, and there's a little steel bracket that is tied directly into the frame to make sure it's nice and strong. So you guys can see that Martin's got these steel panels that he was making pretty much ready to go. They are welded all the way around there. And now essentially what we got to do is rivet this on and then epoxy seam weld it to the actual fiberglass tub of the car. With that done, Martin moved onto the front. Now I didn't film a lot of this, but Martin used the same formula with a square tubing base and 20 gauge sheet metal riveted and then seam welded to the fiberglass tub. So with that, the tunnel is basically complete. What do you guys think? That is the tunnel fully complete outside of the couple of little panels that are not welded up just yet. We're leaving those off for the time being just to be able to have access. This middle one here, we want to be able to have access to the shifter so we can make all of our shifter linkages. Front firewall section here will need to be fully welded from the outside in the engine bay, which means the engine will need to come out. Next time the engine is out, Martin will go ahead and do that then. Let's go ahead and hop into the passenger seat. There you go, we are in the car. Really happy with the leg space, and this is not even all the way back. I can even barely just touch the dashboard. Lots of space in front of me. Lots of space to the driver's seat, more than enough for everybody to be comfortable. That's really cool. And one of the really cool things is that by moving the transmission out of the front of the car to the back of the car, we have definitely made this front transmission tunnel section much smaller, which is nice. Makes the front of the car feel more spacious. And one thing that we did that's kind of cool is that the passenger seat is actually mounted more forward on the rails. That way it moves more forward and less far back. That way it gives a nice big access window to the back seats here, which is really important to be able to get into the back seats. So I am really happy with how this tunnel came out and these seats. I think they look really cool in the car. Really excited to have them, of course, reupholstered along with the rest of the interior. That, of course, is going to be in a future episode. So for today, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.